remember talking to my therapist at the time. She was like, what's the one consistent that's been in your life? Because nothing has ever been consistent in my life except for my tarot deck. My tarot deck is a practice that from 15 to now, I've never missed a day of pulling a card. I've never missed a day of shuffling my cards. I'm always with them. I'm always journaling with them. They're the one consistent. They're like, and I say to people, they are your harshest critic, but they're also your biggest cheerleader.
Hello, welcome to Modality Mavericks, the podcast. My name is Mandy. I'm your host, and today with me I've got my friend, Claire. Claire is a shaman, a priestess. She's a tarot expert, and she's listed on her social media pages as a divination specialist and psychic medium. She also has a diploma in holistic counselling. So she is the perfect person to come on here and have lots of chats about tarot and how tarot can be seen as a healing modality. Welcome, Claire.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I'm so excited.
So excited for you. I can't wait.
So we're just going to jump straight into it. And first of all, I want you to tell me about how you got into tarot reading. I want to know the history behind it and, well, your history behind it and what inspired you to be a practitioner.
Well, if I was to get into the history of the tarot itself, that is a very, very long conversation. And that's where my nerd full on come out. So we'll keep that for another day. How I came into tarot is actually kind of interesting. I grew up as a young child, like especially my primary school years, traveling the world with my parents, having the most amazing spiritual moments and access to all these different cultures, sacred temples. When we were living in Hong Kong, I got to hang out with the monks quite a lot. I had this idea what religion and spirituality was. But then when my parents decided that I needed to go to high school, we moved back to Tasmania and they put me in a Catholic school, which was really intense and very confusing for someone who was so young and had believed everyone could believe whatever they wanted to believe. And spirituality and religion were one and the same. And then I went to a school where that was like, the Catholic is the only belief. Everything else is devil worship. Everything else is wrong.
I can sympathise with this completely. Having grown up in religion myself, there's not a lot of room for deviation from their view of spirituality.
And this was a school that was strict. So we did church every week. We did prayer every morning. We had homeroom, which was literally a service every single morning. And we had religion every single day. So I spent 2 or 3 hours studying this religion that confused me so much and was telling me I couldn't be who I was. I couldn't take everything I'd already learnt and that I grew up with and continue being that person. It was really difficult. And even being baptized as Anglican was seen as wrong. So my family's actually Anglican. So even being Anglican in a Catholic environment was wrong. So I started rebelling. And then when I was about 14, I stumbled upon this book about witchcraft. And I bought it with my pocket money. And in it mentioned tarot. And I read this book back cover to cover. Nothing hit, nothing felt right except for the chapter on tarot. And I fell in love with it. I loved the idea that you could do something with your hands and you could see the images and how you could translate these images to mean something specially to you. And my first ever deck was, because this was back in the day when dial-up was a thing. Yeah. So like I had no Wi-Fi and I wasn't allowed to use the internet if someone was on the phone. And my dad at the time worked from home. So on his like breaks on the weekends, I would download images of the Rider-Waite deck and I would print them out, cut them out, then laminate them. And that was my very first deck.
That is so cute.
I was 14. And then
I love that.
Yeah, and that was my little deck, and I kept them hidden under my bed. No one knew I had them. My dad, I had to like come up with some stupid excuse that I was doing this massive like presentation from school, because my dad was like, why have we used so much computer ink? Remember, there's 78 cards.
Yes, there is.
78 cards is quite a lot. And I had no access to the meanings of the cards. I had nothing except for these images, and I started reading them and playing with them and just letting my intuition, and I was always obsessed with symbols, so I'd let the symbols tell me the meanings. And then when I was 15, I'd finally saved up enough money that when we went on a family holiday to Melbourne, I bought my first ever tarot deck. It was addictive. It was that high, that excitement, that rush. Oh my gosh, I'm doing something that was breaking the rules. And that also led me down a path of paganism and witchcraft and everything else. It was my door to everything that I do these days. But it was the one thing that has been consistent in my life. Yeah. I've always had tarot decks. You will never find me without a tarot deck on my person. And that kind of started the path. And I remember going to every single bookstore, every single secondhand shop, I would go looking for books on tarot. Because again, wasn't really allowed to use the internet, and what was on the internet, it's not like these days, there was really nothing. So I would go to the library, I'd go everywhere, but again, small country town, didn't have access. So for the first couple of years of my journey, it was just me sitting with the cards, using my intuition, studying the symbols and things like that.
So how did this develop into something that you use now professionally, as in a healing service?
Well, it started when I was 18 and I was public. And I realized that
funnily enough, that's where a lot of our stories begin, I think.
Yeah, it's on the dance floor at the club, and I kind of had started practicing tarot on my friends, and at that point, tarot was still pretty shameful. And then I was in the corporate world for 10 years, and then I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to be this person. And so I consulted my tarot deck, and I literally blurted out to my boss, I'm quitting and I'm going to be a tarot reader.
How did that go down?
Everyone thought
at the time for you, with people around you?
Everyone thought I was having like a mental breakdown. Like,
yeah,
that I'd lost my mind. I'd completely and utterly gone crazy. I was throwing down a really good job that I'd worked very hard for. But it was one of those moments completed all my goals, and I was like, I'm not happy. And for me, happiness was when I was with my tarot deck.
So it was a part of your healing journey.
100%.
In the process.
Yeah.
To becoming a professional healer.
And I remember talking to my therapist at the time. She was like, what's the one consistent that's been in your life? Because nothing has ever been consistent in my life except for my tarot deck. My tarot deck is a practice that from 15 to now, I've never missed a day of pulling a card. I've never missed a day of shuffling my cards. I'm always with them. I'm always journaling with them. They're the one consistent. They're like, and I say to people, they are your harshest critic, but they're also your biggest cheerleader.
Okay, so for our listeners that may not have a lot of experience with tarot or are keen to learn about it, I would like you to explain in simple terms what tarot actually is and how it can be used for our benefit.
Okay. So, put very simply, a tarot is a deck of 78 playing cards.
Yeah.
The deck that I'm an expert in is the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is the original tarot deck. It was published in 1910, so it predates a lot of witchcraft traditions. And it is what every other tarot deck is based on.
Right. Okay.
So if you understand the principles of Rider-Waite-Smith, you can understand nearly every other tarot deck. So it is 78 cards broken down into two sections. You have the major arcana and the minor arcana. The major arcana are your big life events. They're the energetic representations of your big moments in life that will change your path, change your career, the things you work hard for, the surprise moments that have big, meaningful impacts. And then the minor arcana are broken down into 4 suits of cups, wands, swords, and pentacles are your everyday. So they're the everyday little steps that you take to get to the major arcana.
Okay.
So even though they're 2 very separate sections, you can't have one without the other.
So there seems to be a bit of a system in place when it comes to the key principles or the techniques when it comes to the tarot cards themselves. So you're saying that they had suits, the cups, wands, swords, and pentacles or coins. And I've heard that they've been attributed to the elements. Is that correct?
Yes and no. More so with the Thoth deck, but a lot of people who read Rider-Waite have attributed to them. So you can say the pentacles or the coins are earth, wands are fire, cups are water, and swords are air. Sorry, I had a mind blank. You can associate with them and the elements, but for me, they're actually the 4 aspects of self.
So what's the difference there?
So elements is our natural wonders. It is Mother Gaia. It is the chemical makeup that makes life. We need all 4 of elements to survive. We need all 4 elements, the math equation, to bring life into this world and to support life. I believe that the minor arcana is a mirror of ourselves, and it's the 4 aspects. So swords, to me, I will always read as mental health and our logic. So our cups are our emotional state. Wands are our spiritual, and pentacles is our abundance, so our gifts. And when we find and fly in the flow of those 4 things together, that's when we start to achieve the major arcana.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. That fits in nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
With tarot, like a lot of people attribute tarot to something akin to like palm readers or divination practices, or when you visit a shady little booth somewhere to get your future read. And where I think in reality, tarot is more of a reflection of ourselves, like rather than a divination practice. What are your thoughts on that?
Divination is just one very, 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 very small percentage that you can use the tarot for. It was never meant to be a divination. It's not going to tell you the future. It's not going to tell you when you're going to die. It doesn't going to tell you when you're going to get married. It's not going to tell you all these general information. What it will do is will go, this is where you are now. This is the reflection.
Yeah.
This is the self-analysis. This is the self-awareness where we are now. And if you would like to get to here, these are the changes you need to make. Or these are the practices that you need to put into practice.
So when you're doing a reading with someone, because you have a diploma in holistic counselling, and so I'm assuming you've done a few psychology units?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you're doing a reading for someone, Are you thinking about these kind of principles when you're laying the cards out for somebody else? Is it a reflection of what their mindset is? Is it a reflection of their situation, their past as well, and what their challenges are and what they could learn from?
It's everything. It will tell me, say, for example, there's a card that it's called the Knight of Swords, and it's a man riding a horse, rushing really quickly with his sword up in the air.
Yeah.
But he's actually running backwards. Like, if you lay him down as if he was a storybook, he's running to the past.
Okay.
So sometimes when that comes up, it's like, oh, okay, we're letting our past trauma dictate our future. We're letting things that have hurt us in the past make the decisions, even though we know we have the tools to protect ourselves from them. We have all this information, but emotionally, we're still that traumatized child. So it can be vulnerable, like put you in a very vulnerable place, and it can be quite confronting, because it can say, okay, yes, logically you can see that you have all these puzzle pieces, but this is the piece that you're missing. That's actually the central part, and we're missing it because we're in it. We're living it. We can't actually see it in play. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So what are some of the potential benefits that individuals can gain from this? What are some kind of insights that they're able to get from it in order to heal?
You can see the whole picture. It will show you.
So it's like zooming out sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like zooming out. It's when we live in a moment when something happens, we are very, very good at making ourselves the victim. And a lot of the time we feed that victimhood. But sometimes we can make ourselves victims in situations that we're not actually the victim. Or we can hold on to that energy when it's no longer serving us and we've moved on from it. So we can use the tarot to actually have a look at that whole situation and go, okay, yes, we can, from just having the cards on the table, I can get a picture of this is where you were feeling in that very moment, but we haven't let go of that. And this happened because of these other cards that were in play that you didn't see. So I can give them this understanding of why the situation had happened, especially when it comes to childhood trauma. And it's that, I'm not taking away that some parents just shouldn't be parents, but sometimes when you're a child, you're taking it from a moment of, as a child, and that's the emotion, that initial emotion, that's what you hold on to. But looking back at it, we can understand this happened because of generational trauma from your mum, and something happened and this is how she reacted. And we can see that in the cards, and then I can help explain and give that understanding to my client that there's a bigger picture here, there's a bigger story, and we need to forgive your mum for bringing that forward and understand that she didn't have the strength to break it. But now we're having this moment in this particular time, the strength to look at it, observe it, so then we can break it. Then we can move forward without having that pattern triggering.
So there's no such thing as a bad card, would you say?
Oh, 100%. Some of the cards that people are terrified of are my favorite cards.
The Tower comes to mind for me.
The Tower to me just means chaos is happening. Just learn how to dance in the rain. A thunderstorm is the most violent, most dangerous thing, yet how many humans sit there on the balcony and go, oh my God, isn't that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? Just learn to dance in the rain, just surrender, just flow. Allow the chaos to happen around you, not to you. It's the same with the
I think that's a mantra that everyone can live by.
Yes.
And we need to remind ourselves of that constantly, don't we?
100%. I need that tattooed on my body somewhere. Like, just don't get
It's hard when you're stuck in the moment. It's really hard because when this chaos is whirling around you, it's hard not to be trapped up into the whirlwind, and get focused on the little details. And keeping your calm and being
present,
centered while all this, and present while this is all happening. It's a learned skill. It's not something that comes naturally to anyone, I don't think.
And something I've learned from the tarot is that balance is necessary to life, but your balance doesn't have to be anyone else's.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
My scale might look like to you, they're sitting like this. My hands like in the thing. But to me, they're like this because that works for me. In those moments of pure chaos, when I feel like I'm so overwhelmed and I can't see anything, that is when I go to my tarot deck. And I just pull one.
Yeah.
And it's just, what do I need to focus on? What is my center point right now? And then it will tell you everything you need.
It helps you to stay present.
Stay in the moment.
It gives you a key area to focus on.
Yeah, that. I call it the Polaris star. So it's that thing that we can guide, that can lead us back home. Our navigational star. Find that, and you can use the tarot to find that, and that can just keep you going, even if it's just for the day.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that.
And it's also sometimes a really good reminder that if you're having the shittest day of your life and you get a tarot card, like it's happened to me. I honestly thought I was having the worst day of my life. Everything was just completely falling apart in my life. And I pulled the 10 of Cups. And if you don't know tarot, the 10 of Cups is a man and a woman with their children, and there's a beautiful rainbow, and it's like happy endings, right? It's the happy ending card. It's everything's perfect. Everything's in alignment. And I'm like, I'm sitting here.
How does that make sense?
They just fall apart. And this actually happened, and this was my stalker card when I lost my house in the flood.
Oh, right. Yep.
And I was like, this doesn't make sense. And I, at this point, been working with the cards for 15 something years. And I was like, how does that make sense? But I kept thinking about it and kept thinking about it. And then I was like, oh, I get it. It showed me, the flood showed me who my community was. It not only took away all my stuff, which was so freeing, but it also took away the people that I didn't need in my life.
Yeah.
And it showed me that happy ending, and it made me realize it wasn't about the material items that we lost. It was about the emotional bonds we found.
The rainbow after the storm, quite literally.
Just dance in the chaos.
It can be quite healing as well, can't it? Like it's more of a, you say you used the word humbling before, but I think it's also quite soothing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It can be very soothing, and it gives you hope. The cards there's always an element of hope.
And we all know that the psychological benefits of having even a smallest glimmer of hope is always going to be positive. Every aspect of your health is going to benefit from having a positive viewpoint.
Exactly. And sometimes that's you're feeling stuck. That's the tiniest change of mindset that you need to get unstuck, to start making the move.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's
not in a toxic positive way either. It's like some of it can be reflect quite a harsh reality, but at the same time it's reminding you that you're in control.
It's interesting you said toxic positivity, because for me that's the sun card. Like everyone who it's like oh my God, happy, like it's the new beginning and everything. And it 100% can be. But when we look into that card, it's like, what are you shining a light on to hide something else? And sometimes it's just an awakening, like, oh, I didn't realize I was masking right now. That is actually why I'm so exhausted, is because I've been masking. It can just be simply that reminding you what's going on in your own body, in your own spirit, in your own mind. A lot of my clients, it's not even the cards themselves. It might even be a pattern. So if in a reading, someone who normally gets cups and pentacles is all of a sudden getting wands and swords, I won't even look at what's going on in the cards. I'll be like, we need to work on your mental health and lack of spirituality right now. And because like in our busyness, that's the first thing we let go of. But that's also the most important thing. And it's like, forget everything else, just concentrate on your mental health. Okay, so what are we sacrificing for you to please everyone else? So it can just simply be like the pattern in the cards. It doesn't have to be the cards themselves. Just look at how many pentacles you're getting.
I put a spell on you.
Okay, moving on a little bit, changing tack a little bit. What are some common misconceptions that you have heard or have you found about tarot?
There's quite a lot. That the work of the devil? No.
Because you're mine.
That's a big one among religious sectors. And of course, we're all inclusive here at the podcast. We don't discriminate against any beliefs, any religion. I myself grew up in a religious household, and I have a lot of respect for people in religion. I don't think the individuals themselves are the problem. I think the organizations and the history and the traditions are the problem.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's anything at the core of religions. It's the people in charge who have their own agendas.
Absolutely. So would you say that's what the biggest misconception is with tarot? Comes from religious points of view? Yeah.
Every single card has a positive and a negative side to it. It's just like humans. We all have a positive side and we all have a negative side. And it's how you want to see them. And another misconception that really, really, really irks me so much, in fact, I actually wrote a whole course about it. It's like a 12-week course, but it's about how the tarot, especially the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, isn't feminine, that it's patriarchal, that it's very masculine. I think the fact that it makes you connect into your intuition, it connects into your energy, but the symbols that are hidden throughout of it, it is divine feminine in its purest form.
It wouldn't even occur to me that it was a patriarchal, that some people would think that it's a patriarchal system, because to me, tarot, I've never met a male who reads tarot. The only people that I've ever met that reads tarot are women.
Yeah, I've met a few male tarot readers. They are out there. They are rare gems.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, but the majority has to be women, right?
Yeah, it is. But also, I just want to say, traditionally, going back before we were a patriarchal society, divination, psychic, mediumship, it was a woman's thing. Men didn't really do it. Only in the later stages where the stories get changed and men get replaced in those roles in the history books. But traditionally, women were seers, and in our bloodline, that carries through our bloodlines. There were some cultures who had men who could communicate with spirit and that, but traditionally, the seers, the psychics, the oracles, they were women. So I think that's why we have so many women in this industry, is because we're awakening to our bloodline gifts. Yeah, it's one of the most divine feminine things out there.
Is there any challenges or limitations you sometimes find hard to overcome?
The reason why I got my diploma in holistic counselling was literally, because tarot for a lot of people with mental health seems to be a lot more accessible than paying the exorbitant amount of fees to go and see a therapist. So I would get quite a lot of people who I could help to a certain extent mentally, but they actually needed the balance of going on medication, of having someone who could actually follow the mental health protocols. That's the only thing that I've really found, is that it doesn't extend to the mental health that we're seeing right now in our society. But again, that's why I did the diploma, so holistic counselling, so then I would understand, I know how to talk to them, I'd know how to hold that space and guide them to
and
find
recognize it when it comes across.
Yeah, and it is really difficult, but that's really the only limitation I find. And I've had so many people come and ask me all different kind of questions. I use it in mediumship. I use it in deciding what I want to eat. I like for anything and everything. I've had people come to try and find people that they've lost. I've had people come and like go, is my marriage ending? What do you know where my lost dog is? Do you know like how I can contact my past pet and things like that? Or should I leave this job? Should I go for this job? Like, what should I do? People ask me all sorts of questions. So there's no limitations whatsoever.
So there's no such thing as using the tarot deck too much? No? I know that that's a left field thing to say, but I have heard it being said a few times.
I understand how it can be seen as an addiction. I can see that, and I can see how it can turn into a clutch. But
so when you're using it instead of trusting your own intuition or trusting your own instincts, that sort of thing.
But free will is a thing. Like the cards are going to tell you so much, and they're going to tell you, okay, this is the step you take. So we need to get, like, for example, you need to walk out the door and turn left, and then this road will open up. But you might walk out that door and then just have a split moment and you're like, oh, pretty bird, and walk right.
Yeah.
Like, it's not actually going to control human behavior, but it can help you analyze the situation and go, oh, okay, I actually do need to go left. So even if you turn right, you can have that moment of clarity going, oh, I was meant to turn left, and do a little U-turn and walk left and retrace your steps. So it's not going to remove the free will, but you can get a little dependent on it, and it is quite fun, especially when you're getting the answers you want.
All right, so before we wrap up, because we have been going for a while now, we could chat tarot forever.
I can. Anyone who's ever been on one of my Zoom calls with tarot, you know I can go for hours.
I'm one of them.
It is my favorite subject.
Can you think of or share any success stories or maybe testimonials from clients who have benefited from tarot reading? Just a quick little positive story.
I'm just trying to think what I can share that doesn't go into too much detail.
Important.
I had a client, because I just want to put it out there, as tarot readers, we have the same like ethical standards as a therapist. I truly believe. Like,
client confidentiality.
It's important. Because it's also safer for people to be more vulnerable, I find. But one client recently was really, really, really anxious to go to a family function because they were so stuck in their head, and they were seeing everything that everyone else was doing as an attack on them. And the cards were just like, oh, honey, it's not all about you. They're not even aware. They've got their own going on. It's about them, not you. It has nothing to do with you. And having that realization and going, oh, no one actually cares what I dress like. No one actually cares on how I present. Everything that's coming out is a reflection on them and not me, was enough to get her to go and actually have a really great time.
So it gave her the confidence to show up as herself and have fun.
And when I got a message from her yesterday, it was like, I had the best time, thank you.
So what advice would you give someone who's considering trying out tarot for the first time, either for themselves or going to someone?
I always say to people, take the emotion out of it. So when you're asking a question, don't read it with emotion. Read it as like you're reading a textbook. Find the facts and stick with them, because I know people, and I am one of those people who can get the 3 of Swords, which is the heart with the piercings, and go, oh my God, that person's healing. When no, they're still really toxic. I'm just seeing what I want to see in the card.
Yeah.
Like maybe
so it encourages you to look a bit deeper and to be more analytical and look at things from different perspectives as well.
It encourages critical thinking.
Would you recommend seeing someone who knows how to professionally read tarot first, or giving it a go themselves first?
In Australia, I don't know where everyone's listening from, but in Australia, this industry is not regulated as much as it is in the UK and America. So be very, very careful. Ask questions, and if anything in your gut is telling you that this is the wrong person for you, don't go and see them. There's no such thing in Australia as a qualification either. So if anyone's telling you they're qualified, they're not.
Oh, that's good to know. That's really good to know. I'm a nutritionist, and I find very similar. It's very unregulated in the wellness industry, and people can say they're a nutritionist without having any qualifications whatsoever. Those of us who have studied it and gone to uni for it with qualifications, going, we're kind of washed out by this stream of people who are promoting false information. So you find that a lot with your industry as well?
100%. And it is frustrating because in America and England, they have them there. You can't call yourself certain things unless you've done testing and you've been tested. And you can't get insurance unless you have met those testing qualifications. Here in Australia, there is none of that. So my advice is always ask questions. When people ask me questions about my tarot and my experience, I love that, because that means they're actually interested. If someone gets offended with you asking questions, they're not for you. They're hiding something. Like, don't ask what you want to know in the reading, like just throw a message, but ask like, what's your experience? How long have you been reading for? What style of reading do you do? And then just make sure that you trust that person, and your gut will tell you. If you have to think about booking that person's not that for you. If you want to learn the tarot yourself, experiment. I recommend the daily practice of pulling a card and journaling what that card means to you, and then having a time in the afternoon to reflect on how that card played out, and so you can develop your own meanings. Like, and try tarot in different ways. Like, I use tarot and spell work to represent the archetypes. Use it as journaling prompts. I use it if I need a boost of confidence. I might have the strength card in my back pocket when I'm going to have a difficult conversation with someone. Work out how it works for you and how it fits best in your life. Also, read. There are so many books out there for tarot. Some are better than others, but you will get people from all different walks of life giving you a different opinion. And be, like, again, really critical. Read it, go, that sits really well with me, that doesn't, so I'm going to keep that in my practice, but that one I'm not going to. And so just research, find what feels right for you and let it go. But the best way to do it is trust your intuition.
Oh, wow. That's good advice. So how can listeners learn more about your work and connect with you?
Okay, well, I have an Instagram account called Clare Bailey Tarot, which you're more than welcome to contact me on there. I'm also in the middle of launching a brand new community space called Arcana, inspiration from the tarot. So if you would like to follow me on my YouTube and my Instagram for Arcana, it's OUR space ARCANA. Arcana.
I will leave all the links on the show notes underneath for anyone interested.
Thanks. I do individual one-on-one readings. I do individual mentorship, and I also have a string of courses that I have running as well. So I have, at the moment, the Tarot Foundations. I also have a course called Her Arcana, which is exploring the divine feminine through the major arcana. And I'm also about to launch the animal connections in tarot, because the more you study tarot, especially the Rider-Waite, there's quite a lot of animals, so the spiritual meanings behind them. And I'm also about to launch a advanced tarot. In my courses, I teach Arthur Waite's meaning, the modern meaning, because it's very, very different to Arthur Waite's meaning. But then again, we're living in a different time. He wrote it in the Great Depression, in the Victorian era. Then I teach my meaning based on my life experiences, and then I encourage people to write their own meaning. I tell all my students to date your cards, like spend time,
Yep.
go out with them,
Build the relationship.
Build a relationship. And that's when you get the really good readings, when they get to know your energy as well as you get to know theirs.
So many exciting opportunities coming up for people to learn more about tarot, and for you as well to be able to teach it. Yes.
Like I said before, I can speak for hours about tarot. So if you're interested, come and listen.
And I can personally attest to Claire's ability when it comes to teaching. She's a very good teacher. I am taking her tarot course at the moment, learning about the major arcanas. And
yes. My tarot circle.
Yes.
I forgot that as well.
the tarot circle.
Yes.
And I get a lot out of it, more than what I would do reading about it. I've only got the one tarot book. I read about it, but I also draw up other perspectives from different internet sources as well. But reading it is one thing, but when you're being spoken to is a different thing, because you take more meaning out of I do anyway. I take more meaning out of verbal communication rather than written communication.
Yeah,
so it's well worth it.
I can read the same paragraph over and over again, and then someone actually explains it to me verbally. I'm like, oh, why was that so complicated for my head to get?
Absolutely. Claire also encourages you to find your own interpretations of it as well through meditations in her courses. And I think that's really important for your own analytics.
I will announce you can have an exclusive Mandy if you like.
Oh, yes, please.
In 2025, I'm finally launching my physical tarot journals.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So they
keep an eye out for those. Follow her on Instagram.
Yes, so they'll all be coming out, and I'm super excited. I've been working on them for 3 years. They're finally at a place where I'm proud of them and they're ready to be birthed. And so they'll be printing in 2025.
Well done. That's wonderful news.
Again, because I believe that we all connect to the cards differently. They are literally designed to help you find your own patterns in the cards and find your own connection.
That's great. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Claire. That's okay. The more information, the better. As I said, I'll leave all the relevant links down below, where to find Claire and what courses she's got available, in the show notes below. But otherwise, again, thank you so much for being here, Claire. I am so grateful that you came onto Modality Mavericks, and congratulations on being a Maverick.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait to see where you take this podcast. I've been there from the birth and now I'm seeing it actually happening. Super excited for it.
I'm super excited as well. I can't wait to meet all the wonderful healers and practitioners and connect everyone and just have this amazing community around us. So again, thank you, Claire. And this is where we say goodbye.
It's important to know that the advice shared on Modality Mavericks podcast is general in nature and does not take into consideration your individual circumstances. It should not be relied upon to make decisions about your health or well-being. If you do choose to partake in any alternative healing practices, please make sure to seek out the advice of your doctor or qualified health practitioner first.